Barbie's journey, as portrayed by Greta Gerwig, is one that is shaped by its influences. The world of plastic is intertwined with a universe that is frequently rather fantastic, ranging from the timeless The Truman Show to Jacques Tati's Wonderful Playtime. The plot then shifts to a character creating her own identity, which is the most interesting part. It is a movie that alternates between Barbieland and our reality, and it all boils down to Margot Robbie's archetypal Barbie having to make a decision. Will she move to Los Angeles, which has its own share of issues she must solve, or stay behind in the world where every day is flawless, which she has come to see may not be what she wants? As the usual tensions all resolve themselves, the plot, as penned by Gerwig and her writing partner Noah Baumbach, predictably takes a turn for the existential, which is worth exploring. But just in case it wasn't obvious, in brief, Barbie is a movie that adheres to the typical rules one would anticipate from the kinds of movies where the journey is both literal and emotional. In addition, it introduces a few surprise subversions that make fun of the fact that it is a Mattel-produced movie and will certainly make money from its success. Because it is promoting a brand's narrative, every jab it makes, regardless of how amusing it may be, will always be somewhat compromised. Nevertheless, there are some funny and poignant jokes, such as when Ryan Gosling's ignorantly racist himbo falls in love with the patriarchy and brings it with him to Barbieland. When Barbie eventually reappears, he will have taken control of the situation along with all the other idiot Kens and is preparing to establish what is essentially a puppet government for himself to rule over all the ladies, who appear to have been practically brainwashed by what he is doing. Barbie joins forces with her fellow Barbies and the visiting mother-daughter team of Gloria, America Ferrera, and Sasha, Ariana Greenblatt, to defeat the army of man-baby Kens in the face of the possibility that this fascist coup could upend the world she has created where they are not subject to men's control. The long and short of it is that Barbie succeeds in her endeavor. Who knew that all it took to reclaim control from the Kens was to exploit their egos in order to divert their attention while you jolted the other Barbies out of their trance? All looks to be back to normal after she firmly informs a tearful Ken that she doesn't want to be with him, and that he needs to find his own purpose in life apart from her. That is, until a person we are familiar with from before appears. Why, it's Ruth Handler, the creator of Barbie, who we briefly encountered when Barbie was jogging around the corporate buildings back at Mattel, Rhea Perlman. We depart Barbieland this time after making numerous jokes about how she had tax issues, which is all real and barely accounts for half of the problems surrounding the creator of Barbie. The handler then leads Barbie into an empty space and gives her the option of staying a toy or becoming a human in the world. In contrast to how she chose to stay where she had always been when faced with a fork in the road at the beginning of the movie, our protagonist character now finds it difficult to make the decision. Handler offers what are essentially glimmers of what it means to be alive in order to aid her in making this choice. Barbie and I watch young girls grow up in recollections that resemble home videos, producing an emotionally introspective sequence that drives home the point Greta had been making the entire time. Beyond the humor and light-hearted mockery of the film's genre, the director was also working towards a more touching conclusion. Despite being a toy, Barbie was held to a high standard and expected to lead a perfect life. There was sadness in the realization that this was not what she desired or even thought she could do. She started having actual emotions, and all of their conflicts forced her to make decisions about her life that she had never made before. We witnessed this in action in the montage, demonstrating how life can be both beautiful and agonizing. Ruth had forewarned her of this, as losing one's complete sense of self was always going to be uncomfortable, but there is also a catharsis now. Barbie resolves to become a full participant in the world. She had only just been a tourist who, after realizing how much delight there is in it. The story doesn't end there, though, as Gerwig ends with one more joke that once more makes her intentions clear. After leaving Barbieland and returning to our reality, Barbara, now wearing Birkenstocks, meets up with Gloria and Sasha, who drop her off at the gynecologist. This final phrase, which seems to be a throwaway joke intended to send viewers laughing out into the world, brings with it one last jab at Mattel as the movie comes to a close. Despite the fact that the movie occasionally felt like it was being perpetually constrained, the conclusion shows Barbara embracing her own body and self without any constraints, at least until the Mattel company ultimately decides to package Barbie again for a sequel.